From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Tiger Cats Game Day with Courtney Stephen and Simoni Lawrence.
This is Tiger Cats Game Day on the Ticats Audio Network. It is 2024 and football season is back. Preseason game 1 and your Ticats are opening up Tim Hortons Field at 2 p.m. Eastern to welcome the Ottawa Redblacks. Now, my name is Courtney Stephen, and sitting next to me across the screen is the one, the only 21 Simoni Lawrence. Simoni, welcome to Tiger Cats Game Day, man.
Oh, man, I'm like a kid at the candy shop right now.
Let's go. Yeah, man. We're going to be talking a lot of football this season, and I'm going to be leaning on you to really break some things down, give me your inside perspective. And today we're going to start out doing that because you've been spending a lot of time at training camp, and that's what today is all about. It's a showdown for all of those positional battles, the people who are fighting for roster spots. This is their opportunity to get under the, well, there's no lights because we're playing in the middle of the day, but to get on the big stage and show their stuff. What is the first preseason game all about, and what can we look forward to?
The first preseason game is always mad interesting just because, like, every player is seeing things through different lens. Say a guy like Goose, he's coming in now, Goose number 30, our free safety. He's coming in the game like, you know, I'm just going to get these boys lined up. Hopefully I can get an interception, go sip some water because I know that I came into camp and I balled all camp. And that's what Goose did, balled all camp. So he's just going to come and get his feet wet, make sure, you know, his back pedal looks smooth. Nice. You see, my must-see television moments is guys like Bell, running back, number 5. He has the opportunity of a lifetime right now. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, Butler's not playing in this first preseason game, and Bell's going to get the opportunity to be the guy. You know what I mean? To be the absolute guy. And, like, I like Bell's game. Bell can do it all. I'm, like, a fan of Bell. You see me girl crushing a little bit because I'm at practice and I watch it all. I'm like, this boy catch good. He block good. He run good. He run some routes good. I'm like, okay. Yeah. This is his Super Bowl. So he's seeing this like, this is my Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like some players like Goose might, but he's coming to this game. This is his Super Bowl for sure.
This is definitely his Grey Cup for sure. You know, because we always on brand.
Running back. This is his Grey Cup for sure. This is his Grey Cup for sure. This is his Grey Cup for sure.
Yeah. So absolutely. So we're looking forward to seeing a lot of people who are trying to step up when the opportunity comes, when their number is called. So you're talking about people who are in and out of the lineup. Let's just look at these lineups for a second, and let's start at the start. There is one person who everybody, whether they're new, whether they're old, if this is their first or their 400th Ticats game, everybody is going to be talking about the quarterback position because you can't have a team, whether it's JV, flag football, or professional, without a great quarterback. And at the helm for the Hamilton Tiger Cats is none other than Levi Mitchell. You've been at training camp every day. What have you been seeing from the veteran quarterback and the rest of the quarterback room?
Okay, just listening to Bo, he's taking the leadership role. He's still confident, extremely confident. He looks bigger too. Like he just looks more filled up. You know what I mean?
Bo got in the weight room?
Bo might have been in the weight room all off season, and if you do your homework on Bo looking good, you know. Like I'm interested to see in this game, this first game. I want to see Bo come out, you know, see his footwork, make sure he's moving okay. Like you know, them dogs coming after him, he can get out of the pocket, you know, step up into the pocket, you know, take a couple. I don't want him to get hit too much because you know it's a preseason. We need him. You can't win a game without what.
The quarterback, baby.
You see what I'm saying? So I need him to be healthy, but I really want to see his footwork. You know what I mean? I'm really going to pay a lot of attention to that. And, you know, pow. Woo! I like pow.
Yeah, pow. So his footwork, that would be something of interest because he came into camp. Well, at the very first day of camp, when everybody was doing a conditioning test, Bo shows up with a boot on his foot. He creates a lot of drama and controversy. And, you know, we love a good storyline, but that one was a little bit too close to the heart. So it's good to see that he's been back at practice. He hasn't taken any days off. And, you know, his footwork, you know, is the key to any position. So quarterback, especially, whether it's running back, receiver, whatever. So outside of Bo Levi, have you seen any other guys at the quarterback position? Maybe somebody named Taylor, last name Powell. How has that guy looked in camp?
Pow, you know what I'm saying? Powell's one of those, like, pow, you know what I mean? And more credit to Bo, because Bo had a beautiful black and gold game, you know, like, he was dropping dimes, you know. It's different when people are hunting and coming for your head. That's why we got to see this preseason game, but he had a great black and gold game. But we getting here to number 7, Pow. Boy, he switched his number. He feeling confident. One thing about Powell looks fast. I know he played quarterback, but he looks fast. Like, he looks like trimmed up. Looks like boy was eating good. He was on that steak and broccoli diet, you know. That boy looked good. He looked good. He looked like that quarterback. Is that the reason they re-signed him for a couple more years? The way he looked, come back looking that good?
Well, I mean, if you take advantage of your off season, you call it an on season.
You see what I'm saying? You know, that's a great 1-2 combo right now. I think that there's still like a hard competition in there where they're like, yo, I'm ready to step up and take some food for somebody. And Bo's like, hold up. Not yet. I got something on the tire. I got to get to it.
Yeah, well, you know, in the CFL, if anything's for certain, there's going to be a little adversity sooner or later. You want to have a great insurance policy, and that is called a backup quarterback who can get the job done. Powell got thrown in the fire last year. He showed up, and he rose to the occasion. So you know it's a good feeling when you have more than one qualified guy at the pivot. And hopefully in the preseason game, he'll be able to get a little bit more experience, a little bit more reps with those other guys. And let's talk about the guys who the quarterbacks throw to. At the receiver position, you know, you've got your Tim White of the world. Tim White led the CFL in receptions in 2023. Very explosive. He's a fast guy. He can stretch the field. But there's been some other people who have been making a name quickly for themselves at training camp. Why don't you introduce Tiger Town to a couple other folks they should be paying attention to?
Okay, I'm going to give y'all 2 people. Of course, Tim White. Tim White came back to camp looking better than Tim White from last year. Like, that boy came back cut up, jumping 80 feet in the air. I clocked him running a fly route 40 times. I think it was 4.2. It was crazy. Tim White, price of admission, must-see television. You feel me? But what I really like to this boundary, yo, when I tell you this guy Bridges, number 17, I'm so excited to watch him play. If he like the way he's been playing in camp, he's been an all-star every single day in camp, coming, giving clips, catching deep balls, catching fades. I was like, okay, maybe he's just a catcher. No, he came down on the number 2, the linebacker, hemmed him up like this. You're not going nowhere. So he liked the block too. Having a Tim White, look, picture this, Courtney. You got Tim White, fastest man in the world. And he getting that waggle. You got a pro wide receiver right next to him. I'm talking about, imagine Cutter, bro. Where the safety, you got to make a decision. That's a one-on-one with the safety every time. And I think Bridges is like 6'10".
So we're talking about taking 2 fast receivers and running them on deep routes down the field with the late cross to really have the defenders trying to make decisions on the fly about who they're covering. So
you see what I'm saying?
You put the defense on their heels when you have big bodies, when you have fast movers, and there's other people around them who are very serviceable playmakers as well. So you got the likes of Keandre Smith and Omar Bayless, both guys who've shown flashes and had great games, really waiting to break out. So another 2 names that we've been looking for. Another super tall guy, you got Vasher in the mix, number 82. I think the wide receiver position, is it safe to say that there's a lot of jobs being fought for in the wide receiver room?
For sure. Them boys are hungry. It's one of those things where I like Omar game, but like if I'm Omar, I'm looking around like, why everybody 8 feet tall? You know what I'm saying? But Omar's one of those guys. He's a fierce competitor. All I think about is when we went into Saskatchewan last year and we needed to make some plays and Omar came out there, 2 touchdowns, over 150 yards. Like, Omar's a ball player, so we need to get that out of Omar in a preseason game like this. This is a game where it's like, yeah, I'm Omar, you know, my best is my best, you know what I'm saying? But like, I gotta get a Canadian kid some pride now. Y'all know where I gotta get a little Canadian kid some pride. They brought a lot of talent into this camp, you know, on the likes of orange who looks like a prototypical wide receiver, big, tall, big guy. Somebody you would love to throw to. Then you got Luther, number 81, another tall Canadian ball player. You know what I'm saying? But the little man, Keandre, yo. Keandre's one of those kids where it's like, he loves football, in the sense of like, that's what he loves to do. So he's a fierce competitor. So it's like, to come and take a guy's job like that is going to be extremely difficult because of the way he goes about business every day. He's not missing practice. He's on them special teams playing gunner like, hey, I can do this too. I can make a tackle. All I got to do is block. I can block. Oh, that's the best defender. Why don't you come check me? Let's do one-on-ones. He competes. Like, those my favorite Canadians, as Courtney knows.
Oh, yeah. You got to compete, baby. You got to have something on your shoulder. You got to have a little chip on your shoulder because, in this game, there's only 46 people on the active roster in the Canadian Football League. For those who are unfamiliar, in the NFL, you get 53 players. In Canada, you got 46, but you're starting 12 people on either side of the ball. So you really need your special teams players. You need people who can play more than one phase of the game. So having a player like a Keandre or a Stavros Katsantonis who can start and then also contribute on special teams if his number was called in a clutch situation, that is a big one. So matter of fact, let's jump on over to the other side of the ball real quick and let's talk about some interesting things there. I mean, Stavros Katsantonis, one of three.
I got one thing, Court.
Go.
I know that you conditioned to forget about the big boys, but I can't go nowhere without the big boys. You feel me? We can't leave off. They don't get commercials. Okay. They don't get all the sponsorships.
You know what? That's right. We potentially have the best interior three on offense in the entire CFL.
Thank you.
And let's not overlook the fact that, Brandon Revenberg has been the offensive lineman of the year in the East.
Over and over and over. Look, come on now.
So we got David Beard, Coulter Woodmansey, and Brandon Revenberg anchoring the center of that offensive line.
Yes.
You got the middle three, big hogs, big uglies, as they call them sometimes.
They're
ready to go. So, like, what is that offensive line going to contribute to this team, from a on the field playing perspective, from an off the field leadership perspective? Because there's some of the more veteran senior guys. Yeah. But also, like, who fills in the gaps on the other two spots on the offensive line? Because now you got to look at the tackles. Those are the only two spots that really got room for improvement, room for somebody to step up and take a spot.
Courtney, you hit it on the nose. Rev Beard and Woodmansey, must-see television, master communicators, wake up early in the morning, live together, eat together. I don't know if they do that together, but whatever. They get it together, you know what I'm saying? So that's constant communication. You got a point guy, Beard, Woodmansey. Now you can relay and help them tackles out. And let me tell you about the tackles. Fig, haven't seen Fig yet, but when Fig's Fig, Fig's Fig. Who else we got over there? What is this guy's name? Courtney, help me out.
We're
with
talking
the dreads. Murray. My bad, Murray. So Figs and Murray, left tackle and right tackle. That's who everybody was high on.
Jordan Murray, the humongous human being. Yes.
Yes. But like for this game, y'all want to know about the game, so we're going to talk about the people who are playing. Fig and Murray are not playing, but who I like, Courtney, when I tell you this is like a Hamilton boy, like, he don't know it yet. His name is Bordner. Left tackle, number 67. When I tell you, bro, he's a tough kid. He came outside, looked like a little athletic Peter Dykowski. He got the mullet flowing in the air and stuff. And guess what? He used to play before left tackle, Courtney.
Defensive end.
Yup, defensive tackle, but who cares? Defense, you know what I'm saying? And once you play defense, your brain little switches a little bit. I'm talking about to the point where I go down there, I'm watching one-on-ones, I'm trying to see what's going on. I see him grab somebody. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Driving them by. That wasn't it. Whoa, sit down, baby. Run back up to the line. Who won it next? Get out of here. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, he here to take something.
Number
67?
Oh my goodness.
The mullet Hey, y'all go check out 67. The left tackle. I like him a lot. And then you got Kemp, returning starter. He got a lot returning. He got a lot of reps last year. Thing about Kemp is they got a lot of tape on Kemp. So I could see Borner playing a lot more in games like this. The same on the backside with Burrow. They got a lot of tape on Sarter. So let's get some tape on these guys because that's what this preseason is for. You know, they want to accumulate tape, you know, and see who's doing the right things consistently. And when I say consistently, it's the right things consistently, the bad things consistently, and not knowing what you're doing consistently. Like that's what they want to see.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that for a second because really, you know, at the end of the day, you win this game, you lose this game. It doesn't do anything to help advance you towards the playoffs. Yeah. So the point of this preseason game is to evaluate the players. So Revenberg, Beard, and Woodmansey, they probably get some reps so they can build on that chemistry, knock off the rust, get the communication flowing like you mentioned. But I expect to say Dumoulin, Doué, the first overall draft pick for the Ticats. Yeah, I expect to see him get some reps too because in a bind, the Ticats are going to put him in the game in the regular season, and they're going to want him to get a little bit of experience. That's what the preseason is for. Another guy too, like Zot, who comes over in the off season. He's a guy who, you know, they want him to also get a chance to get in the offense with live reps because he'll be able to contribute at some point in time or another this season. So you mentioned Sartor, Kemp, guys who've actually got the reps. This game here is really, yes, you want to win every single game, but really you need to gel. You need to get a chance to communicate, deal with some adversity together, see how people react, and then let the teammates build some trust. But like let's hop back over onto that other side of the ball for me real quick. Yeah. Boy, I know we gonna be here all day.
We gonna be here all day. They're gonna have to turn us off.
Hold on. We gonna come. I got something. Yo, trust me, I got something in my back pocket. We gonna come for you. But hold on, listen. Tell me a little bit about. You mentioned him at the top of the show, the man Goose. Okay, he's a leader of the defensive backfield. He's the quarterback of the defense in a lot of ways. We're talking about Stavros Katsantonis, number 30, entering his 4th year. This is the ball hawking safety. California, but he's got the right passport for the CFL. Let's talk about what the defensive backfield looks like because last year you had Kenneth George Jr. playing the boundary corner all year. He's moved into the halfback position. Richard Leonard, the flexible DB veteran entering his 7th season, he's playing the other halfback. And then Jamal Peters, the big name free agent signing from Toronto, he's not playing in this game. So you have Milton and Lawson on the corners. What is your thoughts on this defensive backfield and what have they done in camp so far?
Listen, I'm going to tell you this. The boundaries over there, Jamal Peters, number 2, like when I say I was watching him all like camp and stuff, he's had a great camp. You know what I mean? He's had a great camp. Like I said, him and Bridges, they're both over at Bridges plays offense for us. And, you know, Jamal's over there at that other corner. They were going at it. When I say it was must-see TV. So they got longer over there. And nobody reads. Like, Peters is a Will's dream. You know what I mean? Because playing with Peters, like, you don't got to get too far out the 2 because Peters reacts when he sees the 2 receiver breaks in like a cut coverage type of thing. You know what I mean? You can explain that to the fans if you want, you know what I mean?
Well, so a cut coverage is basically when the corner is defending the lowest outside part of the field. So the Will linebacker, which Simoni would be very, very familiar with. That's where he spent 10 years in Hamilton defending that hook curl on the weak side of the field. You don't got to be stretched towards the sidelines because you trust that a guy like Jamal Peters is going to get the routes once they get outside of the numbers and more towards the sidelines. So I think that's what you're talking about where that cut coverage, he reacts to number 2, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like a guy like that, he's an all-star. One thing about people like that, he's one of those guys where if he's healthy, he's going to be an all-star. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Bush gets an opportunity to show that what he has on tape. I always say defensive backs is one of the hardest positions to judge in camp because you don't tackle. And that's the thing with D-backs all the time. You don't tackle, you know what I'm saying? But a guy like we're going over, staying to the boundary, George, moving him to the boundary half where the league has gone where it's like, oh, I'm the number 2 receiver. I'm going to come and block down on the will linebacker and make the boundary half who's supposed to be high come down and make the play because he's going to be the free player. George embodies that. He comes down, he smacks stuff. George is one of those players where if he stays focused and locked in, he might get his first All-Star this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think him moving into the boundary half is one of the best things that could happen for this defense and for him because he played on the corner and, you know, he did well. At times he had his challenges like anybody does because the boundary corner is the toughest defensive back spot. Yeah. In my opinion, you're going to get the star receiver of the other team and you're getting 15 targets a game, right? But that boundary half has to be so versatile. And I think, like you mentioned, the crack replace, meaning when your guy that you're covering blocks and all of a sudden now you're the free hitter. Oh, yeah, he relishes those opportunities to make the open field tackle. And when you're playing next to, you mentioned the length of Jamal Peters, the length that George also has. That's just the quarterback looks out there and sees branches. It's like throwing through some trees.
It's tough. It's real tough.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And so, like, that's why I love George. George, he looks great this camp. He's been having a great camp. You know, I'd want him to stay locked in so he can make me look like Mike. What's that guy named? Mayock. When I was coming out, when I was coming out of college, boy, he's an all-star if he stays locked in. And we going, let's Goose. We went from the boundary corner. Shout out to Bush, who's getting the start. We're excited to see what Bush does this game. And then we got George. Shout out to George. I think George will get a couple of reps, you know, probably play a half, get his feet wet, eyes right, make sure his eyes are good. And then, you know, take a little break. And then we got Goose, Kaz. That's the quarterback of the defense. And like the thing about Goose is that I appreciate about Goose is he relishes that. He loves double checking. Hey, you're high. Hey, you're low. Communicate. And you have to force that. And he's a player that forces communication in the secondary because you know if there's no communication in the secondary, bombs over. You know what I mean? It gets crazy.
Bombs away.
It gets crazy. So now we're going over Rich Leonard, all-star, all-star corner. He makes plays. He's a short tackler. It's always like, oh, how did he make that play? Where did this little guy come from? How did he do that? How did he do that? Just call him Mr. Consistent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he might have the best footwork that I've seen in a long time. You know what covering I mean? that field slot, it's a lot of space, so you got to be a technician. And then you got Lawson outside, so there's gonna be a lot of chances. My thing is, if you want to get a tip about which defensive backs that are on the bubble will make the team, see how they play on special teams. And special teams also is a spot where a lot of these linebackers are going to have to try and make their case because, you know, Simoni, you stepped out of the lineup, and now they got people trying to see who's going to fill the voids.
Look, I'm going to tell you this.
At that Mike and the Will. So let's talk about the linebacker position with which you are very familiar. What have you been seeing at training camp? Hey,
I think we got one. I like Wilburn. And listen, there's this kid, his name, he's a man, Wilburn, number 52. Like, he gets it. He knows how to play. You know what I mean? It's coming. It's clicking every day. He's running to the ball. He has a lot of length. Like he's a ball player. The thing with him is he's going to have to get used to the pace of the game, just that 20 seconds on the clock between plays. And if he can keep his pad level down, you're going to be like, oh yeah, he could play some ball. Ball. I like him a lot. And like him and number 50, I can't even tell them apart. Thomas, I can't tell them apart sometimes. You know what I mean? So that's another guy he was playing Will. He might get a lot of Mike reps because Kyle's the Mike linebacker. He had a good camp coming off of that injury that he had last season. And so he's going to get some reps, you know, make sure everything's ticking and moving good. But like, this is a game where Wilburn proves that he is who he's been in all training camp.
And Kyle Wilson is the most experienced in this defense. He's been here now. I want to say this is his third season. So a guy who's been in live games, who's played, he's had chances to start and contribute. And for the most part, when he's had his number called, he showed up and he's made plays. So he's been biding his time, waiting for this moment. So for him to sit down in that Mike spot, I feel like he's excited about this,
Mm-hmm.
and this preseason game to him might mean a lot more than it would to the average person who's been on the team 3 years, because now he's gonna get a chance to say, "Look, this is mine.
This
This
is
is
his
mine.
show. This is
Someone
show."
else gotta come take this from me because like I'm ready for this."
You see what I'm saying? And that's why we love football, and that's why the real guys love camp, because it's one of those everybody beating their chest. You know how you watch everybody Instagram video all off season, like
running the sprints,
doing all these sprints. I'm like, man, I'm about to smoke him. What are we talking about, right? And everybody's like, beating their chest. And this is one of those games where they get the opportunity. I'm excited to watch Kyle lead this group playing the mic, because when you play the mic, it's an automatic leadership role because you're the one getting the calls and distributing it to the teammates. You know what I mean? And then the surprise of the century, we got Talbert, number 46, starting at Sam. Listen. We love our special team players. Cartel Flowers Lloyd. Best special team player I've seen in a while, since Bestwick days, you know what I mean? And we were expecting Cartel to come up here and be like, yo, this is my show, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to come and play defense, and we still expect that from him. But at the end of the day, Tolbert, number 46, ignored the noise, came in here. Now he has the opportunity to start and say, hey, not yet, youngin. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me show you something real quick, you know? And
so Sim, let me ask you this. What are the characteristics of an elite Sam linebacker? Like, what makes a Sam linebacker somebody you want on your team, or somebody offenses are game planning against because this guy causes trouble?
Listen, the Sam position, I always say, is the hardest position on defense, on the strength of you have to be able to cover. And in this game where they're bringing in these extra tight ends and fullbacks, you also have to be able to add to the box. Sometimes you're spinning coverage, playing safety. I think of guys like Rico Murray, you know what I mean? Guys that are used to playing multiple positions, that can play the boundary half, can play safety, boundary corner, field half, field corner, because the Sam is such a multiple position. When I say a multiple position, it means you have to know and understand a lot of stuff. And teams attack the Sam. Like, we come in again. Teams got at least 15 plays for the Sam to make sure he's paying attention. You know what I mean?
Because it's all about the eyes, right?
It's all about the eyes. So you have to be locked in. So whatever it is that Talbert did, he showed the coaches, I can lock in. I can do what y'all need me to do. So this is must-see TV too. Like, I want to see this. Flowers Lloyd is going to get a lot of playing time in this game. He's going to play his specials where he's been dominant. But if he wants to play on the defense, he got to lock in and ball out with this game. You know what I mean? It's going to be a game for him.
Yeah. So one more position group. I mean, I'm not neglecting the specialists because we'll get to them in a second.
Get to them for sure. Yeah.
But in this is the preseason. Yeah. We're not even going to talk about Ottawa at all because this is about us.
And look,
we're trying to figure out who we are.
Facts.
And who's going to go into week 1.
Yeah.
Right. So we got to go group by group. And let's talk about the biggest and the baddest. In my mind, I'm gonna be honest with you. The position group I'm most excited to watch of all, more than quarterback, more than receiver, more than defensive back. Yes, I want to see this defensive line looks mean. Yeah, I'm talking about you losing a big name like Ted Laurent. He's not there anymore, but you've got Casey Sales,
ball player.
And then you go to Montreal and you bring in Nick Usher.
And we ain't talking Usher Raymond. We talking Nick Usher.
And then after that, then you go and get some big dogs from down the street like Barlow. You bring him in. Yeah. You got returning players like Mason Bennett. You know, you got some big names up front.
Now
Casey Sales, who came back from last year as an all-star. Like, this defensive line got so many different people. Hendricks, he's not in the lineup, but I mean,
he's had a camp.
So it's just, I mean, what are we to think about this defensive line? Because if they play up to their potential, everything gets easier for everybody in the linebacking core, the defensive backfield. So
it starts up front.
I see a big. There's about 50. There's like 13 people dressed on the defensive line.
Listen,
how does somebody break into this lineup with all those names?
Listen, it's one of those things where you got to put it on tape. You got to put it on tape. And it's like when you understand the environment that you're going into, where you got Barlow, high on Barlow, guy from number 11. He's going to have to show his stuff. Hewitt's a ball player. Hewitt's been with us last year. He does his thing. Sales, all-star. Everybody knows that. Nick Usher, lots of reps in the CFL, understands the game. You know what I mean? Guys like Bennett who are going to have to like earn their way on special teams or like show that they can be that guy to rotate with the American player and be like, yo, you're not seeing no drop off. You know what I mean? So like guys like that, you got to shine. But if you want to show people like, what you really want to do, you got to take it. It's all about, look, you got to take stuff. You got to take it. When I say Jones, number 99, sleeper pick, y'all. Jones, number 99. I've been watching camp, yo. This guy, he cut up. He looked like he about 6'10", runs a 4.5. This, you know what I mean? And I've just been watching him. I'm like, okay. And he's one of those guys where he was doing one-on-ones where it was like, he was coaching people that I didn't think he would be coaching. So he's like, yeah, you nice, but like, you should do this. You know what I mean? So I was looking at it. I was like, okay, he got that bravado too. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, this football stuff, you got to have the confidence, you know, it's a lot of, you got to keep the confidence and have your confidence high at all times. Because, you know, only thing promised is what, Court?
Adversity,
baby. So like, a guy like Jones is going to have an opportunity to show that he knows the CFL game. He's been learning in camp. And like, if he plays the way he's been performing in camp, he's going to be a guy that's also going to be competing for a job.
Yeah. And you know what? The thing about the preseason that's cool is that the offenses and defenses, they tend to keep a watered down playbook.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a lot of mano-a-mano.
Look,
it's just me versus you. Let's see how we perform in man-to-man coverage, in a one-on-one pass rush, in an open field tackle.
Look.
I want to see the matchup. So let's talk about some of the opportunities for guys to shine in more so matchup sense, right? So let's talk about this running back position. All right, because you got a guy coming off 1,000-yard season. The best rushing performance that a Hamilton Tiger Cat has had in over a decade.
Yeah.
But there's another kid who's real good too.
Yeah.
So what's going on at that running back battle, and what kind of plays are going to catch the eyes of fans and, more importantly, the coaches in this game?
We're not going to sit here and act like Butler wasn't running people over, jumping over people, and doing all type of crazy things. But you know what they say, the best availability is what?
The best ability?
The best ability is
availability.
The best ability is
availability.
You see what I'm saying? And this the pros, this the big dog league. Ain't no feelings over here. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where Bell the third is getting the opportunity of a lifetime. And when you look at a guy getting the opportunity of a lifetime, when I look at the running backs, he's the only running back that's shaped like this and has this kind of skill set where it's
what's the shape and what's the skill set?
The skill set is like a Reggie Bush's type of skill set, but still be able to run through the tackles. Look at, like, if you look at Scott Milanovich's offensives normally, you look at like a Whitaker where you can get out, like you go 41, leak it back to 42. You know, you're getting a one-on-one with the will linebacker, and now you get to run some routes. He loves doing that. So I know that you're going to have to be able to run routes and catch the ball in this offense. You know what I'm saying?
Real Andre Dury-like.
Real Andre Dury-like. You know, that's his background. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm looking at Bell. I'm like, wow. Bell is the guy that fits this offense, that he's been doing it to the T, not missing no days. He's got an opportunity. So it's like, it's his show. It's his Grey Cup. Like I said, it's his Grey Cup. It's his Grey Cup game. I'm excited to watch this one.
Yeah. So, and what about another position where I feel like there's a chance to break games open, and that would be on special teams, the returner. Every year,
we got one.
The return position is an explosive player. It's like there's it's like a bottomless pit full of just raw athletes.
Nah, for real though.
But like, you got a guy like Lawrence Woods who's back there again, and it's really, really hard to see somebody being more explosive than Lawrence Woods III. That's a spot, though, that every single team, every training camp, every preseason, they're auditioning. So you can bet there's going to be a rotation of guys catching those punts. There's about 12 to 14 punts per game. And in the preseason, you're probably going to see more towards that 14, 15.
Yeah.
Do you think, and this is my question to you, do you think that we see an explosive punt return? Do we see a punt return that is taking the ball from negative territory across the 50? Do we see a punt return that goes for a touchdown?
Listen.
What are some of the things that you're...
I can guarantee you if Lawrence Woods is back there around the second, third quarter, if Lawrence Woods is returning fourth quarter, he's going to score a touchdown. If he's returning third quarter, he's going to score a touchdown. First, second quarter, he's going to get a lot of big plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what's going to happen. First and second quarter, I can see him getting a couple big plays. Like, I should have scored. If he's back there, third, fourth quarter, it's going to the crib, bro. Cause you know, that boy's going to be tired. Ottawa coming over here. They think it's sweet. They coming over here. They not even bringing what they need to bring. You know what I mean? They over here acting like, you know, like they saving money right now. They like, look, we got way too many players. All y'all not getting on this flight with us. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know what? Tell them, make sure, regardless who you bring the oxygen tank because you're going to be running.
You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those games where it's like, if I could say something to the defensive lineman on our team, I'd be like, yo, practice your 50-50 game because you about to get RPO all day, bro.
Yeah, translation is that the quarterback's going to pretend to hand the ball off to the running back, and then he's going to sprint out, and the defensive end is going to have to defend the run and the quarterback.
The defensive ends are going to have to be elite this game, bro.
Yeah, definitely. So you're going to see, vanilla offense with maybe about 5 to 10 plays that are just repeated, different formations and different ways to get into the same concepts. And on defense, you're going to see people who are keeping it vanilla and really giving guys a chance to show their skills, not trying to be overly schematic, but be real fundamental. So in this game, it's going to be people trying out for jobs. Yeah. Obviously, you want to win every single time you get on the field, but this is more about winning your positional battle, winning your one-on-one battle, and making it past cut day because, hey, this is a performance business, and this is, at the end of the day, they're trying to win the big one. And in order to do that, you got to have the right people on the bus. So,
Cabby, baby.
What's the thing that you're going to tell folks who are coming to Tim Hortons Field to look out for in this game today? What is the one thing you tell them to look out for, to expect?
I would expect shots. I want to see shots. You got all these tall receivers. Let's see what they talking about. I can see these quarterbacks saying, hey, I told you, I just put the ball where it need to be. He can go get it. You know what I mean? I think shots. You're going to see a lot of shots this game. That's what I would say. And on one more thing, we got to make a little bet.
Okay.
We got to make a bet. Like everybody, like I feel like we should bet who going to get the most tackles. I got Wilburn getting the most tackles this game.
Ooh, who's going to get the most tackles?
Yeah, I got Wilburn getting the most tackles this game.
You know what I would say, though, is that I think because of the way that this game is played and how many special teams plays that there are going to be, I think that it's going to be a sneaky one. It's going to be a defensive back.
So
and I'm
wait, Courtney, I ain't gonna let you get that bar off. It's because if it's a defensive back other than the Sam, that means he getting picked on.
Come on, it's the preseason, baby. Look, I know what's going to happen.
Okay.
I know exactly what's going to happen. They're going to get to a position where they're like, look, all y'all Americans, we're going to play left and right. All right. And Lawson is going to end up in the boundary, and he's going to get more action than he thought. And he's going to play special teams because he's good on special teams.
Lawson, the ball player. Lawson had a great camp, BTW.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Like, he's a really good player, but that's why I'm saying
I see what
he's
you're
going to
saying.
try. He's on he's a guy on the bubble.
Yeah.
Not necessarily on the bubble of getting cut, but on the bubble of like, can I go from being a DI to somebody who's
start and take something?
Yeah. Can I start or can I be a guy who's not on PR for half of the season and who's actually the designated import or whatever they're calling it these days?
Yeah.
So like
designated impact.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who gets in the game and makes plays, but it's only so many opportunities that he's had. So I expect him to pull a Neil King, come out with 5 special teams tackles, and then whatever they throw his way, if somebody catches it, they tackling him right away. So hey, if Lawson ends up with 7 tackles, I would not be surprised.
Listen, that's true. Hey, but one more thing. I'd be remiss if I didn't say this, Courtney. Watch out for that tight end position. I like Gigi. Gigi's one of those players, number 38, who can also play special teams, coming in there, kick out the defensive end. And then you got Tuck that we just got, loves putting his head into people's knees and stuff. And then we got a bunch of tall tight ends that I'm gonna tell y'all they gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? They gonna be a problem. So we got the receivers, but there is a tight end package that we are going to get to see, and you're gonna be like, yo, why is Tim Duncan and Shaquille O'Neal, are those 2 tackles? Like, what's going on right there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Gigi is Felix Grand Gauthier for those who are not initiated.
That's why I got my dog Courtney. You got the pronunciations on point.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, and don't be surprised when Ante Milanovic-Litre gets the ball and runs over 3 people from Ottawa, because he's got a score to settle with them boys. He was out there. Right? So he's one of those ones. But look, we done ran down the whole roster. We looked at the offense. And this is what you got to do when the season starts. These people ain't had any Ticats action in a long time.
What they want.
Give the people what they want, man. You're going to see Bo Levi Mitchell, Tim White. You're going to see the whole squad. They're coming out. Stavros Katsantonis, Kyle Wilson. Come on now. This is Tim Hortons Field, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Let's get
on a
to
Saturday.
It. On a Saturday,
Look,
enjoy that wet. Oh, yeah. This is Ticat football. In Hamilton, too. Look, everybody in their cars going to the game, listening to the pregame show. I want you to turn up right now. Everybody at their house watching the game, I want you to turn up right now. If you're already at the stadium and you just trying to hear something before the game start, turn up right now. Hamilton, turn up all the way from
Man, I hope y'all enjoy this, because we're going to be doing this every single game for the rest of the season. We got a whole bunch in plan for you all. So thanks for tuning in. This is Tiger Cats Game Day 2024 edition. My name is Courtney Stephen. His name is Simoni Lawrence. And we will see you at the stadium. 2 p.m. Eastern, Ticats versus Ottawa at the Donut Box right here in Hamilton.
See y'all there. Let's get to it.
Tiger Cats Game Day with Courtney Stephen and Simoni Lawrence. Like, follow, and be game day ready.